Simeon and Kora. You know us from Aria Ballroom. You know us from SK Dance Board. And because you guys are subscribers to the SK Dance Board email newsletter, that means you get this exclusive content only for you. You're the only ones that have this video. So, what we're going to do today is we are going to take a moment to work on fan. Now, I know you've already learned fan, and I know that you can dance fan in both cha-cha and rumba. But we wanted to give you some little tips and advice in making your fan look phenomenal. So, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's get moving.
Hi guys, this is the fan, some tips on the fan. You guys have seen it already. Some things not to do, yeah? So we'll start with things that you shouldn't be doing. When you do the fan, yeah, you curve a little bit toward the lady. So lady steps back. I'm not gonna step away from her with my chest this way. I'm gonna try to curve it a little bit to the lady. Now, I don't have to look toward her. I don't have to look at the audience. I can look diagonal. All of it is okay, but I do need to curve a little bit to her. That said, you don't want to overdo it. Lots of people overdo it, and that's no good either. So I go for, not 45 degrees, but for 1/8, yeah? Or sorry, 1/16, yeah? So not totally 45, but a little bit less than that, yeah? So that and then we have a little bit of a curve here in the arm, yeah? I don't mind looking at my partner. I also like to look at the audience. Yeah, and then I might look at her when she comes in for the Alaman. Another one to think about is oftentimes we get too far away from each other on the fan, yeah? We want to be, so ideally, I want my arm to be almost straight, just a little bit flexed, not too flexed, not too straight. And I have to remember that when I get onto this foot, I need to have space, yeah? So if I'm too far away, and then I need to get on the foot, I won't get onto my foot. And then I have one more step after that, she's gonna pull me over, yeah? So we wanna make sure we're not too far away. For that reason, depending on what step you go into it from, you might have to go back and replace, then step to the side, maybe slightly smaller side step, or you might have to go, so let's say Kora was really far to my right, sometimes this happens, I might go forward and I might go back, and when I replace forward, I might slip my foot a little bit to the side, and then go to the side of the fan. Or let's say she's really moving, long legs. I go two, maybe I slip my foot a little bit to her, and then off to the side. So make little adjustments so I know exactly where I need to be. But I do need to get on my right foot with enough distance between her and I so that we're not pulling each other over. One other thing that I notice a lot is this hand hold here gets very funky. Yeah, so I want it to be about hip height in between Kora and myself. Also ladies, I know Kora might speak about this, probably not, but the wrist makes a big difference. So if your wrist is sticking up as well like this, it's difficult for the man to hold. So make sure it's nice and flat, and it's good hand hold right between Kora and myself, about hip height. And then this hand is shoulder height in the same direction as I put my foot there. I think arm styling helps a lot make the move finished.
All right, ladies, now how about a few tips for you? One of the things that you can tell probably by watching me or if you've seen videos of other professional Latin dancers is that the biggest thing for the lady is the beauty of her legs. So what I do for the fan, the first thing to keep in mind is that when I'm stepping back into the fan, I make sure that I take a perfect backward step, not sideways. So if we're starting from this position here, right when he pushes me off, and I'll move my skirt a little bit so you can see better, right when he pushes me off, I only step right behind my front foot, and then I make sure that my hip stays facing forward to Simeon. What this does, as you can see with my right leg, is just make sure that my right leg is looking nice all the time. Now, a bad habit that a lot of girls have is that when they go into fan, usually they're already overturning from their rotation, they go sideways, and they arrive in fan like this position. This is a terrible fan position. We don't want this. You want to make sure that you keep your left hip facing forward and towards the man. So what that does is, as you can see, the moment that I turn sideways, this makes me look shorter, makes my legs look shorter, and it makes my line look distorted. But when I pick my left hip up and keep it facing towards the man, now I look long in the body, my legs look long, and most importantly, the leg that's out for everyone to see, my right leg, looks like 1,000,000 miles long. Now, that doesn't mean that my hip is going to stay like this. When the man settles into his leg, I'm going to start to rotate in my left leg. So my left hip is going to now rotate as I bring my feet together. Now, this is the most beautiful action. There are many different techniques for how we dance the close. As ladies, let's say we have 3 main ones. We can dance it as a very quick one and just show the gorgeousness of my 2 knees apart. Or we can dance this as 2 knees bending in between to the change. And the last one, which is the most difficult one for ladies, but probably the one that most ladies want to learn to do eventually, is when they close their feet, they go up and they stay up high on their legs to show the long leg line before they come out. And of course, ladies, before we come out, we must now settle and rotate our right hip, just as Simeon said before, and settle and rotate our left hip to take the walk forward. And look what I do with my back foot. This is important. I'm going to rotate it as I step forward so that my back leg looks beautiful and long. The next thing I wanted to give you a tip about, ladies, are your arms. Ladies love dancing arms. And like Simeon mentioned earlier in the video, arms make everything look better. So we have a few options for arms, but the most important thing, ladies, is that no matter what we do with our arms, we do not want to over-rotate our lower body. So no opening our hip just because we want the arm out. The default for ladies' arms in the fan would be to place the arm out to the side. This is the easiest option. The way that I do that is, from this position here, because I've just done my rotation, I bring my elbow down to brush against my hip, and then once my hand is on my hip, I go straight out to the side. Now the more difficult version, but definitely the more dramatic version, would be if you were to take your arm and open it more out behind you. This is more difficult, but I'll show you anyway. So I step back like normal, so you can see that my hips stay in this position, but my hand is going to open out. Now the important part about this position is that, like I explained earlier, my legs are still facing Simeon. My hips are still facing Simeon. Only my shoulders open up, so this is going to give me a long line in the legs, but also a very wide and open position in my arms. The last version, I use it every once in a while, and especially for those particular ladies who are very long and thin body types, this is the perfect one for you. When you step back, you take the arm back as if you're going to open the ribs and allow the arm to finish all the way up next to your head. Now it's important that we're pushing our shoulder down as our arm is going up instead of allowing the shoulder to go up with our arm. So we're going to push that shoulder down And now when we dance the close, we would take the arm behind the head. So it's a natural culmination of where that arm goes. And 4, hold. I know you enjoyed that video. I really hope that you got a lot out of that. I'm sure Simeon showed you some great things.
Of course.
And girls, I know that you got some good tips from us. Keep practicing. Learning these things, getting these things down, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. Don't allow yourself to get discouraged. Just keep working hard, and next time you are going to have a gorgeous fan. We can't wait to see you at the next party. See you later.